Hi besties, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new video and welcome to my monthly reading wrap up for August. And I haven't done a monthly reading wrap up in, I don't know, since like March maybe? It's been a bad reading year. So a little backstory to this monthly reading wrap up because it's honestly really funny to me. All of these books that I read in August, I literally read them in the last week of August. Basically, I just read them and I like went crazy and read a bunch of books because if you guys don't follow me over on my TikTok, you probably don't know this, but I started this like book talk trend. It's like this to be read series where I kind of like pick out random books from my TBR, so to be read list of books, to be read piles from my bookshelves, and I just start reading them. And the idea is that I don't know which book I'm gonna read, so that has really helped me with reading. So yeah, if you want to watch this series, it's honestly, it's been really fun. If you want to watch it, the link to my TikTok is gonna be down below. Let's talk about the books that I read in August. So I'm gonna talk about them in the order that I read them. So this first book is not part of the TBR series. I did read this book because I wanted to read it. I was really intrigued by this book. So this is 800 Other Girls, and oh my gosh. First of all, I love this cover so much. Second, the reason why I wanted to read this book is because I had heard it was very similar to The Devil Wears Prada and the TV show The Bold Type, which I did love both. But I do feel like both are very different because different eras, you know? So this one is more towards like the Bold Type. So it's really modernized, it's really Gen Z millennial kind of thing. So if you don't like a lot of millennial / Gen Z references, this is not gonna be the book for you. I personally did enjoy this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, I think. Yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. Honestly, it was a fun, cute read. It's about this girl who's a writer and she gets like the dream job in a fashion magazine. So the magazine is called Vinyl Magazine, and she basically aspires to be a writer in this magazine, but she lands a assistant job to the editor-in-chief of the print department, like the actual print, so the magazines, not the digital department. So she is the assistant of the editor-in-chief, and she is very much Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada. Honestly, at first, I did not really like her. Not only at first, like, she was not my favorite character, to be honest, but it was all part of the book. So it's basically this girl trying to survive in this world and in this assistant job. So you get the behind the scenes of the publishing world and the magazine and how they work and all that stuff, and it also references a lot of important topics, so it was really nice to have it in this book and kind of learn a lot of things. So overall, I did enjoy this book and I would recommend it. So there is a male character which I hated so much since the beginning. So now let's talk about the books from the TBR series. So these are all the books that I've been reading. The first book that I started with the TBR series is Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas, and this is the second book of the series. Yes, I did read the first one, do not worry. And I've been also getting questions on like how do I manage series with this like TBR randomly picking out books. So I did explain this in a TikTok video recently, so if you want like a more in-depth, but basically for this exception for this book, I just knew that I only had Crown of Midnight in paperback and in the bookshelf that I picked out from. So I just knew that I wouldn't like pick up the third or the fourth book because I just don't have it. I just don't have it in paperback. But if you do have a complete series of books or a couple of books in a series, you can just put them together. You can turn them over, and if you pick like for example, you randomly picked number 3 instead of number 1, you just start with number 1, and if you want to continue reading the series, you just like read the entire series. If you don't want to, like personally I did, I just read this one and I don't know when I'm gonna read the third one, to be honest. So yeah, that's how I've been working with that. But Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. So I know this series is like one of the most popular fantasy series out there, And I did love the first book, but I have to say that I think I enjoyed a lot more this one. And I think it's because there's a lot more like romance to it. I was always like nervous as to like what was gonna happen. So I will probably read the third book. I just don't know when, but I gave this book 4.8 out of 5. And the reason why I didn't give it 5 stars, it's because I'm trying to be a little bit more critical with my ratings. I would have probably given it 5 stars, but now like a few days passed and now I feel like it was actually 4.8. You know what I mean? So I've been trying to really analyze my ratings. So there's gonna be a lot of 4.5, 4.8, 4s. I only read one book that was a 5-star read. So either way, I enjoyed the book. It is a chunky book. Okay, let's continue with the second book that I read in the TBR series. So in part 2, the book that I, randomly chose was The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. I've had this book since last year, I think, around this time actually, so for 1 year maybe. I think I got it in like October, but I've had this book for a while. Obviously, this is about witches. This is about the main character, which is Clair, and she basically has lived her whole life in this, I would say it's basically a boarding school for witches, and the book is sectioned in like all these seasons, so you get each season and what happens in each season because there are witches for each season. But the thing about Clair is that she is an ever witch, which basically means she is a witch of all seasons, and she is like the most powerful witch, and she is the only one of her kind, and she has the responsibility of basically helping out the all the other witches. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, so 4 stars, and it's in first person. It's only her POV, but the reason why I gave it 4 stars is because for me it was a little bit repetitive. And what do I mean by repetitive is some things that were explained once were explained 10 times. Maybe 2 or 3 times you can explain the same thing, but to mention it 10 times, it's like, I get it. Like, this happened, she is like this, she has this problem, I get it. Like, I don't need a reminder 10 times. That's the only thing that I did not really like because it got repetitive. So besides that, the story was really interesting, and it was cute. It was cute. I liked it. Like, either way, I enjoyed it. And the ending, I did enjoy the ending as well. So that was because if the ending would have been different, if I wouldn't have liked the ending, my rating would have been very different. So yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, and the last book that I read in August, which was the third book in the TBR series, the only 5-star read of the month. I read A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. This book was so good. I know this book it was a popular book talk book last year. It's not so much anymore because it was last year. Like, I'm that late to the book. I was honestly just really scared of reading the book. I don't know why. Like, I just had heard a lot of things about the book and I was just scared of reading the book, but I regret that because it was so good. So this is a Hades and Persephone retelling. It's a romance. It's a spicy romance. I wouldn't say like the spice is over the top. There are many spicy scenes, but the scenes are like not over the top, so I wouldn't say like it's the spiciest book I've ever read. But like, to the story, it was really good. And obviously 5-star read. I know a lot of people have mixed opinions, but I loved Hades and his character, everything about him, and Persephone. I know there's a book from Hades' perspective, but honestly, I just can't read the book all over again. I'm not that person who loves reading books from, like, I read a book from a perspective, I don't really want to read it from the other one. I don't know. Maybe I will sometime, but for now, I think I'm good with this one. But it was really good. I don't know if I'm going to read the other books or when I'm going to read the other books because this is a series and I think it's going to be a series of like 4 books. So yeah, this was the last book I read in the month of August. So you guys, I know this video was a little bit shorter than the other ones because I didn't read that much, but I'm glad that I was able to do a monthly reading wrap-up because I hadn't done one in a long time. Also, the TBR series is going to be in the description, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!